abortion saved my life.
It pretty much saved my life.
That was the best decision I was going to make for my life at the time.
I was 20 years old when I had my first abortion, and I am 28 now.
I had 2 children. I had just had a baby that was just a couple months old.
I couldn't even take care of myself at the time. I remember sleeping on a mattress. I was just so dedicated to going to school.
I didn't expect a positive pregnancy test, and it just kind of put me in shock.
And that is when I felt my entire world just shatter.
So as soon as I found out I was pregnant, that was my first decision, was to have an abortion.
What I didn't know is how hard it was going to be for me to navigate the abortion barriers in Texas to access the health care that I needed.
I didn't have any funds for an abortion. I had to look around my room at the time. I would figure out what I could sell.
And I was so stressed because I had so many things to do and I didn't really have a lot of the resources to get there.
I was definitely really scared because there was so much stigma in my family and in the community.
My cousin sent me a list of places that claimed to do free or low-cost sonograms. I don't think my family member knew, and I definitely didn't know that I was being sent to a crisis pregnancy center. And I was convinced because of the lies told to me by the CPC that Texas wasn't an option. So something that I should have been able to access in Texas for a much lower cost, my entire abortion procedure ended up costing about $2,000 because travel was involved.
You should actually be able to make a choice whether or not to have a kid. And sometimes people don't get to make that choice. Sometimes it's just purely because they can't afford it or because they can't drive to a town that has a clinic. And that's a shame.
I knew that the path I would have gone down if I didn't get the abortion would have been a hole that I would have been stuck in. I thank my abortion every day because it allowed me to, continue the goals that I had when I was younger.
Both my abortions changed my life for the better. One helped me escape an abusive relationship. My second one allowed me to be a present mom to the daughter I chose to have.
I often say my abortion saved my life.
I decided to share my abortion story because abortion is normal itself. There's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
And it's healthcare, and it's something that you shouldn't be afraid to ask or something that you shouldn't be able to get.
There wasn't a lot of trans people talking about abortions when I got mine, and that would have been helpful for me to be able to see somebody that looked like me saying this is something I went through and it's okay. And it will be. It is for me.
In an ideal world for me, abortion would be easy. It would not be controversial. It would not be political.
And I just want people to know that if you are someone who wants to get an abortion, have had an abortion, that we love you, that everyone loves someone who's had an abortion, and that the assistance is definitely out there.